Please be seated. So I want to begin by stating a kind of an obvious thing that, what is it we see when we look in a mirror? We see, although it's not what, we see, whether we like it or not, what we look like on the outside. I always want to throw in that extra piece that, we actually see not what others see, but we see, I don't know, you know how that works. But at any rate, in a mirror, you see something of yourself, and it's a fairly clear image of, what you are on the outside. So I'm using that to try and enter into what I see to be an incredible gift to us all that we achieved this past spring before summer, of discerning over a long period of time these values, mission, that we call mission, values, and vision, mission, vision, and values. And the process was remarkable, and the final product, for me, I can look at it like almost like a mirror and say, this is not the outside of the church, this is the inside of the church, and this is what the spirit of the church is. And it's so wonderfully comprehensive and articulate, and for me, I readily see myself in that picture. And I hope, because these words that we've used have brought to the surface so clearly what was there, and we might have said, I kind of think I know what this church is about, but for all of us to have had our say in bringing forth these words that describe who we are, kind of makes it go public. It means it feels so much more real to me, and I hope that others who might say, what is this place about? Who are these people? What is the spirit of this community? Could read this and say, ooh, I see myself here. I see myself here. There's one word, and I don't know how it escaped me, because it was one of the first words actually I heard as we were beginning this process with Ed Cardoza, who came here and preached during that process. You might remember him, man of deep faith, and light and playful. And that was the word he used repeatedly. He said, when he was advising, the leaders of the discernment group, what do we call the visionaries? Thank you. He was suggesting to the visionaries, among other things, don't be too serious about this. Lighten up and allow the Spirit to kind of inform. You might be most impressed by what is unexpected in this process. And I heard that, and I thought, I loved, the approach, the strategy of it, but it struck me even deeper, because it made me wonder about the whole nature of playfulness, and how playfulness can sort of get kind of, always fun to be playful. We've got our kids, and our dog gets us down on the ground and we get playful, but really, playful is for children. And to be seriously playful, but no, there's a spirit of being playful that I think reflects most profoundly a person of faith. And so if I had to sneak it in, I would sneak it in here. I was looking at and under community outreach, I love that, by the way, we have these right now in front of us, and I hope when you're waiting for the service to begin or something, you might say, let's check these out if you haven't read them, because but I would put under community outreach that last sentence: through various programs, events, and partnerships, we extend care and concern to those in need, both within our parish and the broader community, taking a loving, playful approach to providing emotional, physical, and spiritual support. Playful, Rumi, in his so few words, and thank you, Doug, for reading it so beautifully. In so few words, Rumi uses there's that one expression about this flowing toward me, that at 60 years old, he's kind of remembering, I've been forgetful. He's remembering that all along, never for a moment did this not come toward him, did it slow down, this flowing toward me. And at 60, he'd spent most of his life having lost that sense, this is for me where we can crack a door open and say yay to mystics, and that we all, Karl Rahner said, in the end, we're all mystics or nothing at all. That I see Rumi, who was a mystic, and you are too. We all have the capacity to remember that time when we were maybe 4, when we felt figuratively or literally a protective, loving, flowing toward me feeling of support. It was like we were tethered. We came here, and with that, you can be playful. It frees you. Without that, life becomes something entirely different. And it becomes, who is the greatest? Who is the greatest? Because left to our own devices, the only way I have any sense that I'm not perishing is I'm better than you. Or I need you as my audience. Look what I've done today. Look what I've done. Look what I've achieved. And oh my, and how serious we become in that little race to be the greatest. So Jesus is hearing this going on, and he turns and he says, whoa, have you lost the sense? Have you lost the sense that you've had all these years? Have you lost the sense and so have now become what, adults who feel like the best you can do is seek, and don't seek too hard. That's unbecoming, right? Isn't that the funny thing? That's what these guys were saying, like, I'm going to be, oh, he caught us. We don't want to pretend we want to be the greatest. At the same time, we're trying damn hard to be the greatest. But hey, let's pretend that it just happens with grace and that I'm number one. But so Rumi knows, senses, it's real. You don't have to believe it. You can sense it, that there's this flowing toward us. And when he remembers that and embraces that, everything is gift. All of this running around for becoming the greatest is silly in comparison to this source that just won't stop coming and embracing and sustaining and upholding. And when you have that, you are as if you were 4 years old. And the only thing on your mind is doing what you're doing. You don't think about tomorrow. You don't think about yesterday. You love the doing for doing's sake. You're not trying to win an award. You're not trying to even win affection from your parents. You're just playing. And what is playing but allowing the spirit, says Rumi, that keeps coming toward me, this flowing that comes toward me to move through me. And if it moves through me, I feel it. I sense it. It's real. I don't have to tell you as a priest, believe this. All you have to do is remember that it's right there, even now. So Jesus not only catches them saying, listen, go back and welcome this child. And as you welcome this child, you'll welcome perhaps the child within you that is still there, that still knows, doesn't have to remember, knows that there is this flowing toward each of us that allows us to just relax, and be playful. And the irony is those who the church has a long time said, you're bad, you're sinful. And we think, really? I don't feel that. And no, you are, and you got to get in here and accept Jesus, and you're going to be cleansed of that, and then you'll be okay. And that's got nothing to do with this sense. And remember, so maybe the problem and why we're so aggressive with one another has nothing to do with sin. It has to do with having lost touch with this flow that is always right there. Because when we get back in touch with that, not only are we playful, it's as if we can do no harm. So now let me finish simply by saying, so Jesus catches them on this, and says, be a servant of all, because check me if I'm wrong on this, but if you leave your concerns just for a moment, you know, some would say that's irresponsible. You know, oh, Brad, you're going off to play? Who's going to cover your responsibilities? You know, we're always so worried about playing because it's so irresponsible, but if you could for a second set aside all those self-concerns, all the bills you've got to pay, all the things that are going to make you an upright citizen, just set them aside for a moment and step in the direction of another person who could benefit from a smile from you, from a little love, from a little eye-to-eye focused attention. And if you do that, in serving that person, this flowing toward you will come through you, and there'll be a touch of joy about it. And it won't be service like, I better get down there and do the soup kitchen. No, it's, I want to get down there. These people, the more I can be with them and leave myself behind, the more I begin to feel that that flowing toward me, that feels so good, and deepens every time I make that move toward being a servant of all. Today is this showcase. It's the first time I think in my time here that we really got our act together and said, wow, there are so many fun, playful ways to be a channel of grace. And I'll end simply, so get down there and see all the different things that are happening. And there is this playfulness, and it's not just people being silly with one another, that's nothing wrong with that, but it's a playfulness that is growing. And it's growing because it's rooted in something real, that each of us has that mystical capacity to feel. You don't have to believe it, you just have to sense it and feel it and return to it. And we do so by being servants to one another in a joyful, playful way.